I mean, a lot of self-belief, a lot of patience. I mean, I wasn't looking at leaderboards today. I was just trying to play golf. It kind of goes back to what I said on Thursday of just not trying to play golf swing, not trying to play, the field, not trying to play to a certain person, really just trying to execute each shot as well as I could, and then wherever it ended up, just give my club to Bones and let's move on and try to do the best we can on the next one. And he did an unbelievable job of keeping me in the moment and keeping me patient today. And, I mean, it just is an unbelievable team win for all of us.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's start with Dan on number 1, please.
Congratulations,
Thank
JT.
you.
Coming into the day, did you think that 5 under would be good enough? And I know you said you weren't looking at leaderboards, but at what point did you think, okay, I actually have a chance to win this thing?
As soon as I found out I was going to be in a playoff, I mean, when I missed the putt on 18, I looked at the leaderboard in regulation. I looked at the leaderboard and saw, and I had a pretty good feeling that putt was pretty important. I had a really good putt, just hit it a little too hard. But I didn't know what the score was going to be. I mean, I kind of looked I looked at the leaderboard last night, just kind of surveyed it, just, I guess, took one last look at it, if you will. And I mean, there's a lot of great players ahead of me, but I know that they hadn't won a major before, and I know I hadn't won in a while, but I remember how tough it was, and I remember how tough it is now to win. So I knew I was going to be nervous, and I knew that they'd be feeling the exact same thing. So I felt like I probably needed to get to 6 or 7 to have a chance, but I also didn't know. I mean, I just as well knew 2 or 3 could be in a playoff. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen, and just glad I stayed patient and kind of went about my way.
Adam on 2.
Justin, your dad mentioned that on the range last night, Bones kind of gave you a tough love conversation. Can you share a little more about that? And also, was it stuff like that why you really wanted him to come out of retirement and caddy for you?
Yeah, he. I mean, I'm fully confident in saying that I wouldn't be standing here if he didn't give me that. It wasn't necessarily a speech, but a talk, if you will. And I mean, I just needed to let some steam out. I didn't need to bring my frustration and anger home with me. I didn't need to leave the golf course in a negative frame of mind. And I just went down. I mean, I played pretty well yesterday for shooting 4 over, and I felt like I'd played terrible. And he was just like, dude, like you got to be stopping so hard on yourself. You're in contention every single week we're playing. I've had a lot of chances to win tournaments, and it's a hard golf course. It's a major championship. Like, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be perfect, and just don't be hard on yourself. Just kind of let stuff happen, and everything is trending the right direction. So just keep staying positive so that good stuff can happen. And I mean, I left here in an awesome frame of mind. I mean, I think the last player here was like this out right now. I mean, it was so peaceful. It was almost kind of eerie how beautiful it was outside, and I just was. There's not very many times after shooting 4 over on Saturday of a major I left in as good a frame of mind as I have.
You got the trophy, but what happened on number 6 tee?
I shanked it. I mean, yeah, I just cold shanked it. I don't really know how else to say it. It was the best bogey I've ever made in my life. That's for sure.
Let's go upper tank 11 and then John on 8.
Justin, I don't know anyone who would ever do this, but did you pay attention to the chatter that you had blown your chance on Saturday, that, some people were writing you off, if they were?
No, I didn't, but hell of a call by them, whoever said it.
John on 8.
The weather changed so much over the course of the 4 rounds. I know that adds to the toughness over 4 days, but you ended up with a pretty beautiful day. How much different did it play from day to day?
Well, I don't think I've ever played, a non-open championship. I've never played it so severe. I mean, because when we played Friday morning, it was howling out of the south, and then yesterday it was cold and howling out of the north. I mean, that doesn't happen often, let alone in a major championship and at a place like this. So it brought out another side of everybody. It challenged us, and I was excited for that, because although I would have loved to have seen this place in a north wind, I hadn't before, but at the same time, well, I'm sure a lot of guys hadn't either, and it was just about. It probably helped that I hadn't been here that often because it was a lot easier to throw the past 2 rounds of memory out and just almost take each hole from scratch for what it was. And it was very, very tough, but everybody had to deal with the same kind of stuff.
Let's beam out to Steve DiMiglio. Steve, go ahead, sir. You're with Justin.
Justin, can you speak to how special it is to win the PGA of America's major championship, considering your father and your grandfather?
Yeah, it's very, very special. I'm pleased, and at this point, any of them is great. I don't care which one it is. I mean, as Tom Brady always says, your favorite Super Bowl is your next one, and that's what my favorite major is. And at this moment, it's definitely this guy right here. And it would. I'm looking forward to talking to my grandma. I'm sure she was watching, but yeah, I know somewhere up there, Grandpa was definitely watching today and pulling for me, and it's very, very cool to be able to share this moment with my family.
Let's go across the way, number 4.
Hey, Justin, congratulations. In what ways are you a better golfer now than when you won your first major championship?
I've matured a lot. 5 years is a long time, especially at this stage of my life. I would like to think and hope that everything has just gotten a little better. There's nothing that's like standing out of a massive difference. I would say the biggest difference is I probably just weigh about 15 pounds more. I don't know. I put on some weight, but that's the big part of it is you just want to get 1% better. It's not. I don't need to revamp everything. I don't need to hit it 30 yards farther. I don't need to change. Equipment, change ball, change. It's just everything that have and been doing has been working. It's just trying to just get it a little bit better. And I just feel like that's what I've done in every facet. So there's nothing that stands out like this is monumentally better, but it's all improved.
Like your putting, for instance, like just little improvements here that have sort of
for sure. I would definitely mechanically and as a whole. My putting, it won me this golf tournament this week in many ways, and you had to have a complete game, so there was all facets were working at different times. But I made some very, very key putts today. That's a big reason why I'm here.
Let's go to 5.
Yeah, JT, I was wondering who you were talking to on the phone on the 18th green.
I was talking to Lance Young, my agent. He's at home.
And then you seem to have showed more emotion after this win than I can remember seeing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the reason for that?
I just think it's just so hard to win, like it is, and I legitimately think it's harder to win now than it was when I first came out on tour, just for the sake of the depth of the tour. I clearly haven't won the amount of times that a lot of guys, not a lot, a handful of guys have this year, but I feel like I've played just as well as anybody on tour this year. I haven't had the trophies to show, and I'd fallen in the world ranking. And that just kind of shows how strong it was, or how strong the game of golf is. And I think it's easy to start letting some doubt creep in and just kind of like, all right, what's going to happen? When's it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And the first one with Bones, officially on my bag. First one as an engaged man. There's a lot of things that factored into it, but just I told Julius earlier is that just I don't remember the specifics from 2017 as much as I would have liked. I just remembered them chanting JT, but I didn't remember the specifics. And I just was walking up 18, and I knew in the playoff, and I knew it wasn't over. But I looked up and I wanted to take it in because it just, you don't know when and if it's going to happen again, and it's such an unbelievable cool feeling that you just want to enjoy it.
Upper deck 14.
Justin, I was going to say, we know how much you love to needle your friends out here on tour. You just joined Rory with 2 PGA championships. How much are you looking forward to trash talking with some of your buddies out here after this, and also maybe like with Tiger and Charlie as well? This is a good moment where the trophy can speak for itself.
I don't need to necessarily bring it up on my own. I'm very fortunate right now that although there might be people ranked higher than me in the world ranking, but I'm, at least in my eyes, I'm on top of the golfing world right now, and I'm very, very proud of that. So I think I'll let the trophy in the week speak for itself.
Well said. Let's go to 5.
Yeah, Justin, you mentioned the challenges of just coming down the stretch at a major championship. Obviously, a lot of guys felt the pressure today. How much did you feel that pressure today, and was there some freedom of chasing from behind?
Well, again, I didn't look at a leaderboard, so I didn't know where I necessarily was. I think when I made the birdie on 12, there's just different roars, different energy that you can feel sometimes, and I felt that one was pretty big. I didn't hit a very good wedge shot in there, but I left it in a good spot and was able to make that putt, and I could just kind of feel the energy. I got a little bit of goosebumps when that went in, and just like, all right, like this is, I don't know where I'm at, but I'm in striking distance, and so that was, yeah. I mean, I was obviously nervous. I mean, walking up 18, I wanted to make that putt, but you'd like to have a little straighter, easier uphill putt than a putt breaking 1.5 feet, 2 feet, going away from you. But it all worked out just fine.
And then when you were getting ready for a potential playoff, did you watch the golf behind you, or you just were getting updates?
I did a little both. After I signed my scorecard, I went in the little caddy tent and watched the leaders play 17, and then I just wanted to watch the tee shot on 18, and then I'd go to the range, and so I saw Mito hit in the water on 18, and then I went to the range from there, just not knowing if we're going to be in a playoff, if it was going to be a 2-man, 3-man, what it was. And I also, Will hadn't putted yet, so I didn't know what was happening, but Colt was on the range with us and updating us each shot, so he let us know.
Straight back 12.
You said I was just trying to play golf, but in the early on, say a 3 or whatever, did you ever have for 2 or 3 seconds the thought, okay, I'm not winning this, but I'm just going to try to play golf?
For sure, and yeah, I mean, bogey in that 3 was wasn't a bad bogey, but it wasn't a good one, I guess you could say. Definitely wasn't as good as my bogey on 6, but yeah, it was just one of those things where I felt like the golf course was going to be set up a little bit, like pretty conducive to birdies, like have the opportunity to if you hit the fairways, if you got it going, but you just don't know what they're going to do. The leaders could shot 300 or 400 today, and like I could have grinded and made a couple more birdies, and I finished on 18. I look at the leaderboard, I'm 4 or 5 back, but I just was trying to birdie every hole I could when I had the opportunity, and if not, just save a par and move on.
Going to beam out here to Doug Ferguson. Doug, you're with Justin.
JT, congratulations today.
Thank you, Doug.
I'd like, from your own opinion, I think you were the only player in the last 7 groups to tee off who broke par. How much of that would you attribute to the difficulty of the conditions and pins and what have you, and frankly to the nerves given so much lack of experience out there, major experience?
I would say the golf course and the wind, probably 80%, and I would say the difficulty of winning a golf tournament in a major 20% if I had to put a number on it. I mean, it was tough. Again, the north wind just made it a little bit more difficult, and it was kind of switching a little bit to east, or it was northeast, but it kind of was getting a little bit more easterly, so having to try to factor that in, and it's a simple thing like a little hole like drivable on 17. If you obviously you hit a great tee shot, you hit it where you want to go, then you're looking at birdie. But if you maybe double cross it over in the back left rough, or if you kind of heel one and it kicks down in the hat, there's so quickly out here can a birdie hole turn into a salvaging for bogey, and I think that's just why that's one of the reasons I love this place when I first came here. I think it's a great major championship venue.
And what were the difference, would you say, in your nerves between here and Quail, given you were always kind of in the mix at Quail and started today? I think you said, I can't believe I'm in a playoff or something like that. I probably misquoted you.
Yeah, I think they were different. I mean, I was very calm today. I was very calm in the playoff. I was calm the last couple holes. I I felt like I could do what I wanted to do, which is really all I could ask for. Again, I couldn't control what anybody else was going to do, so I think it was a different kind of nerves. It was a nerves just for being in the moment versus I think in 17 it was maybe like nerves as to what's going to happen, and not knowing the outcome, and I want to win my first major. So they're both very up there, but different kind of nerves.
Thank you.
Go back to 8 here.
Just describe the moment from being wheels down in Tulsa, what your week was like in this city, at this club.
Yeah, I got my butt kicked by allergies more than I think I ever have in my entire life early this week. I mean, I didn't even know. Tuesday, I wasn't sure if I was even going to play a practice round. I just, I felt terrible. I thought I had a sinus infection coming. Maybe I did. I don't know. But luckily, got some medicine in me. I got a bunch of rest. I mean, I definitely altered my practice schedule just to try to get as much rest as I could and just try to start feeling better. And then once I finally started to feel better, it decided to be like 55 degrees and windy out, so that didn't really help my cause. But I don't know, maybe I need to get really bad allergies more often.
Let's go straight, time for a couple more. Straight back to 11.
Justin, can you describe what it feels like to sort of live the childhood dream of like, this is a huge pressure moment. I have to hit this shot, like 17 in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
That's really hard. You did it and executed it. What does that feel like to you?
It's just awesome. I don't know really how else to describe it other than that. I mean, that iron shot on 18 in regulation, like that's why I play golf. Like that's why I practice. That's all the hours and everything and the time put in. You want to be in that scenario. You want to be in that situation. And with the backdrop of the whole gallery up there, knowing that I'm in contention, have a decent chance to win this tournament. Probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest hole in the course, and I hit a great drive down there. And to be able to just flag an 8-iron like that, and when I know that in my head I needed to make birdie, it's awesome. It's hard to explain, but it's a full body chills type of feeling.
Let's go to number 3.
Justin, championship is well earned, of course, but do you feel for Mito at all with the wheels coming off like that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not. I mean, you want to win a golf tournament. You don't want someone to lose it. And I had many, not exactly like that, but I have had times in my career when feel like I've let a tournament get away, and it's brutal. It's not fun, but at the same time, if you're able to channel that and look back at it later or whenever the time is when you're kind of, I guess, calmed down and to reflect, I mean, he'll be able to learn from it and be better from it. And I know that, down the road, whether it's this year or years to come, if he's standing on 18 with a one-shot lead in a major, he's going to feel more comfortable because he's able to draw back on this experience. And he played unbelievable golf this week. I mean, there's no reason to hang his head. And yeah, I never saw him this week. I never got to. I don't really know him that well. I never got to talk to him or anything. But I mean, he played great. And there's however many people are in this field, everybody else would have traded places with him on that 18th tee for sure to have a chance to win.
Number 5.
JT, you and Tiger are the last two to win major championships here. I don't know that necessarily makes it more special, but is that meaningful at all? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think now I only have like 150 other things to do that he's done to where he can stop giving me grief. So I guess it's just a stepping stone. The list of champions at this place, I think, kind of speak for themselves or speak for itself. It's just when you get good golf courses like this, you hate to say a fluke win, whatever, but it seems like you have to know your way around. You have to play golf and you have to execute. And I think being on the list of champions at this golf course is very, very special because all those others have been able to do that, and it's definitely nice doing it after he did it in 07.